Shalom, 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 my brothers and sisters of the nation of Israel, the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another end of the week Sabbath class. I'm your brother Ananias for A.O.I, the Awakening of Israel. And as always, each and every week, it's an honor and privilege to come before you to give you another uplifting and edifying lesson. But before we get started, as always, we want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shah. Yahweh being the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shah being his son, who the world calls Christ, in the Paleo Hebrew. And through his strength, sacrifice, and example, we are all able to be here today to be uplifted and edified in the spirit. So we appreciate you, brothers and sisters, tuning in, as always. And as I always state, week in and week out, remember to pray for your brothers and sisters of the nation of Israel. Remember to keep your brothers and sisters in your prayers on a daily, because we don't truly understand the things that our brothers and sisters go through, especially in these last days. We're going through trying times. People are losing jobs, relationships fail, wicked and evil thoughts protrude through our minds, and a majority of us, we just tired or just sick and tired of being sick and tired, So you got to pray for your brothers and sisters on a constant basis, on a daily basis. Pray for the strengthening of your brothers and sisters. Pray that the Most High close up them breaches that be plaguing us as a nation. Ask that he removes the sicknesses, the diseases, the pestilence, the ailments of the body. Pray for your brothers and sisters. Pray for those who are struggling to find their way, who are straddling the fence. Keep them uplifted in the spirit by praying for your brothers and sisters. That's one thing that Yahweh Shah Christ did constantly. That's what the disciples did. That's what the prophets did all throughout the scriptures. So here we are in the last days. We shouldn't be no different. We should be constantly praying for the uplifting or the upliftment of our nation of people, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. So, like I stated beforehand, welcome, brothers and sisters. It's an honor, it's a privilege to be here each and every week. That the Lord grants us to have this opportunity. And I appreciate you all tuning in, and Lord willing, those who will tune in. And tonight's class is going to be dealing with pride. It's mainly Esau's pride, but, just dealing with that topic, pride in itself. The class is called Thine Pride Has Deceived Thee. Now we're going to go into who you see on the screen. And what's going on in the world. But nonetheless, we're going to go into the topic of pride. Pride, what is it really about? What does it mean? What is it all about? Does the Lord agree with it? Should we be proud? Should we have pride in ourselves, in our loved ones, our little ones? What is pride? What is it all about? Well, let's dive into it. All right, let's go look into the etymology behind the word pride. It says pride. Let's go look into it. Full of pride, arrogant, insolent, scornful. All right. Late Old English, excellent, splendid, arrogant, haughty. All right. let's go look at another definition. Let's go check out the Blue Letter Bible. Let's go to Obadiah chapter 1, verse 1. Let's see what it says. Now I'm going to go to verse 3. Obadiah 1 and 3. Let's go check out what pride actually means. Pride, presumptuously, proud. Pride, insolence, presumptuously, arrogance. All right. So pride is another way of being arrogant as hell, you know, just like Esau when they think that they cannot be brought down, you know, but we'll get into that in a minute. Going back to what pride is, it was something I seen on here earlier that I wanted to bring out. Yeah, I went way down. I skipped over what I was looking for. All right. Pride is an unreasonable self-esteem, especially as one of the deadly sins, haughtiness, overbearing treatment of others. Overbearing treatment of others. Keep that in mind. Pomp, love of display. All right. Proper, pride, personal honor, good repute, exalted position, splendor. So just going into giving you a little understanding as to what the word pride means, because a lot of people will make mistakes and say, hey, this person is prideful without even knowing the meaning of it. You know, for instance, I went out teaching one time and had brothers actually roll up on me and the body, actually, the brothers we was out teaching, and brothers came up trying to inflict a doctrine, you know, saying, basically trying to get us to understand their doctrine. And we were not being moved. We were not going to adhere to what they were speaking on due to the fact that it was going off. You know, it was basically saying and stating in other words that we couldn't keep the commandments. So because I kept reasoning and saying we have to keep the commandments, they considered me to be prideful, because I said that we have to stay dialed in regardless of what the world may say or what it may seem to be, that we have to keep the commandments. Or Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, as the repentant Israelites, we have to keep the commandments. But they insisted on the commandments not being able to be kept. But I wouldn't budge, you know, or we wouldn't budge. So they labeled me as being prideful, full of pride, when I was actually being diligent or 10 toes down for what we believe in, being grounded, rooted in this truth, you know, as we are supposed to be. But people get the wrong idea because they don't do the research or the scholarship to find out what things actually mean, you know. But as we look into this definition, the etymology of the word, it actually goes into a person being unreasonable with their self-esteem, especially one of deadly sins, haughtiness, overbearing treatment of others. See, I had nothing but love for those brothers, trying to get them or to realize what it is, the goal that the Most High actually has in store for us, you know, and what we are supposed to do. Not to try to justify going the opposite way, but to stay 10 toes down and dig harder and harder, you know, to do the things that's required. But here in this society, what do we as a people fall victim to? We hear statements like, I'm so proud of you. Why don't you take pride in something? You know, these are the things that we hear in this society. Hey, go make me proud. Not knowing truly the definition of it, or if the Most High is even in agreement with it. You know, we say things thinking it's harmful or harmless, but it's actually harmful to our brothers and sisters. We get caught up in the words and the ways of this world and don't even realize that we're going off. And that's why we're doing this class today, because we as a people have fallen victim to the ways of this world, chasing after our enemies and not even knowing. Even when we have woken up to this truth and understood who we are, we still find it hard to let go of some of the things that we have been raised on. So we're going to continue on. All right. Let's go to the book of Sirach right quick. Let's see what pride actually does for us. Since we got a definition as to what it is, let's go see what it actually does. Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 10. And we're going to start at verse 7. It says, pride is hateful before God and man. So it's letting you know off top that pride is hated by man and the Most High, by Yahweh, by Shem Yahushua. And both doeth one commit iniquity. So when a man is prideful, he in a sinful state of mind. But if you're trying to encourage and motivate brothers to do the things that the Lord requires, how can that be prideful? Think about that. Verse 8, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. So because of our false dealings and our cares for the ways of this world and riches, deceit of riches, our kingdom, us being in rulership, has been translated from us to another people. From all these other kingdoms who have been in rulership on this earth has been translated because of unrighteous dealings. Being in sin, being prideful. That's what caused us to fall as a nation of people. Our leaders, our rulers, they became high and mighty, and they decided they were going to do what the hell they wanted to do. And because of these things, the kingdom was translated to another people. That's why we on the bottom right now. And it makes no sense. Let's read on. Verse 8. Why is earth and ashes proud? This is the question that the Most High is asking us as a people. If we on the bottom of society, why can't nobody tell us nothing? Why we don't want to listen to our own people? The only people that we listen to are those that have money, those who are put on a celebrity platform status, those who you see on the TV every day or on the magazine covers. Those are the people that we listen to, or the people in charge at the jobs, on the plantations. Those are the people that we actually listen to, but we won't listen to our own people. Even though we're on the bottom of society right now, struggling to do all things, somehow we then became proud. How and why is earth and ashes proud? I'm just a brother, or my brothers, we just brothers and sisters out doing the work, being vessels that the Lord is using to spread this gospel. Just like other camps and congregations all around the world, they out just teaching. So how can they become proud when can't nobody tell them nothing? You know what I'm saying? That's when you become proud. There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man, for such as one sitteth his own soul to sale, because while he liveth, he cast away his vow. And that's what you see going on in this world. A lot of brothers and sisters, even on the celebrity status, in order to get to that status, they have to sell their soul. They have to go against the commandments of the Most High. They break the commandments and teach our brothers and sisters to do so in order to get to that status. And then the enemy uses, or Satan uses this to hang it over their head to move them like puppets. You know? But let me jump down to verse 12 right quick. Still dealing with pride, it says the beginning of pride is when one departed from God and his heart is turned away from his maker. And that's what we're going to dive into tonight. Because these individuals, let me get back to these individuals, they turn away from the Most High. They don't turn our people, they don't turn themselves toward the Most High. They have turned their back, they have turned away from their maker. They have departed from the Most High. For pride is the beginning of sin. When you think, hey, I can do what the hell I want to do. I did this. I don't need nobody. Nobody help me. I can do bad all by myself. Pride is the beginning of sin. And he that have it, shall pour out abomination. So an individual who can't be told anything, who can't be rebuked, corrected, hey, he going to be in the midst of sin. Because he's going to come over with constant excuses. And therefore, the Lord brought upon them strong calamities and overthrew them utterly. So nations on top of nations, that had us in captivity, guess what? They became prideful, and the Most High overthrew them through strange calamities. Even these so-called businesses today, these what you call them, these giants, like you had a lot of these stores that had closed down here recently. You what they got? Macy's, Joann's, a lot of different stores. I can't think of them all right now, but it's a lot of different stores closing down. Strange calamities being overthrown, you know. And this nation that we living in right now is being overthrown and brought down. You know what I'm saying? But it's all due to the word and the will of the Lord. Reading on, it says, the Lord have cast down the thrones of proud princes and set up the meek in their stead. You read about that all throughout the scriptures. Prideful individuals being thrown down, killed, put to death, chopped down, cut down. You read that all throughout the scriptures. The Lord have plucked up the roots of the proud nations and planted the lowly in their place, just like he gonna do here in Babylon. Same way he did with Egypt. Raised them up just to cut them down. It said the Lord overthrew countries of the heathen and destroyed them to the foundations of the earth. Overthrew the countries of these heathens and destroyed them to the foundation, beat them to powder, to non-existent. He took some of them away and destroyed them and have made their memorial to cease from the earth. You don't hear nothing about the Assyrian kingdom anymore. You don't hear nothing about the Persian and Mede captivity or dynasty anymore. You don't hear nothing about the Ming dynasty anymore. Hey, the Lord destroyed them and have made their memorial to cease from the earth. And this is going to be a judgment that's going to be given to Esau as well, the so-called white man. Same one who is ruling right now. All right. Let's go to the book of 2nd Ezra right quick. Put it on the screen. All right, let's go to 2nd Ezra. Chapter 8. Second Ezra chapter 8, right quick. And we're going to go to verse 45. Now, this is the brother Ezra, one of our forefathers, one of the prophets. He was speaking and questioning the Most High about the treatment of our brothers and sisters. And he was asking, why are the heathen living in the condition they in? Why are they on top and why are we suffering as a people? And the Most High was going back and forth with him, speaking through the angel, Gabriel. But this is where they was at in this conversation. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 8, verse 45 in the Apocrypha. Remember, like I always say each and every week, remember to follow along and take notes. Do not just tune in and sit there and watch it and say, yeah, that sounds good. Oh, I didn't know that was there. Nah, open your Bible up, follow along, take notes, highlight the different verses, make note to the side. Hey, so you can go back over and read it later on. But nonetheless, let's go to the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 8, verse 45. It says, be not wroth with us, but spare thy people and have mercy upon thine own inheritance. Talking about Israel. For thou art merciful unto thy creature. Israel is the Lord's creature. All right. Let me prove that right quick. You go to book of Ezekiel chapter 10 right quick. Book of Ezekiel chapter 10 verse 20. Bear with me. All right. It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 10, verse 20. This is the living creature that I saw under the God of Israel by the river of the Chebar, and I knew that they were the cherubims. That's not what I wanted. I have to find it in a minute. But the Lord's creature is Israel, and he'll use us later on. But let me get back to where I was at. 2nd Ezra chapter 8, verse 46. Then answered he me and said, the things present are from the present, and the things to come for such as to be come. For thou comest far short that thou shouldest be able to love my creature more than I. So Ezra was trying to ask the Most High, why you treating your people like this, Lord? And he's saying, hey, you worry more about the creature, what I created, more than you worrying about me. But I have oft times drawn nigh unto thee and unto it. He's saying, but I didn't came and I didn't deal with you and the creature, but never to unrighteousness. In this also thou art marvelous before the Most High, and that thou hast humbled thyself as it becometh thee, and hast not judged thyself worthy to be much glorified among the righteous. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world. So many great miseries, LA fires, tsunamis, earthquakes, tornadoes, winter storms, floods, great miseries shall be done to them in the latter time that dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. Great pride, a haughtiness. Well, can't nobody tell them that. You bring the word of the Lord to them in his straight commandment. They say, nah, that's your interpretation. Nah, I've been living this long without it. Nah, that ain't what the man say. Nah, that ain't what I've been taught. Because they have walked in great pride, great misery shall be done to them. But understand thou for thyself and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. He said, don't worry about that. But understand for yourself, Ezra, just like we should understand and seek out the glory for those who be like thee. Seek out the brothers and sisters with the like mind who got that same mindset. Seek those out. Reading on. For unto you is paradise open, meaning the kingdom. The tree of life is planted. The time to come is prepared. That tree of life is what is spoken about in the book of Revelation, chapter 22, verse 14. Let me get that right quick. This is how you get to the kingdom. This is one of the things that's promised to you when you get to the kingdom. Revelation 22:14. It says, blessed are they that do his commandments. This is the last book in the Bible, Revelation. And it says, blessed are they that do his commandments. Right there, that verse alone in the last book of the Bible let you know you still got to do the Lord's commandments. Regardless what your pastor say, your deacon say, what the word say, what did the Lord say? You got to do them commandments. That they may have right to the tree of life. That's the same thing we reading about in Ezra. And may enter in through the gates into the city, to the kingdom. That's what he's talking about. That's what he was telling Ezra. For you, unto you is paradise open. Because you keeping the commandments. You having the faith. You understand it. But he says, reading on. For unto you paradise is open, the tree of life is planted. The time to come is prepared. Plenteousness is made ready. A city is builded, and rest is allowed. Yea, perfect goodness and wisdom. See, right now we in this society, Babylon the Great, there ain't no rest here for us. It just seems like we just wake up, go to work, go to sleep, wake up, go to work, go to sleep, wake up, pay bills, stay broke, wake up, go to work. That's all it is here. Oppression, persecution. That's all it is here. There's no rest here. The Lord told us that in Micah, this is not your rest. It is polluted, and it shall destroy you. A lot of people trying to make it. They trying to live deliciously here in Babylon the Great. They trying to live it up. They trying to live that so-called American dream. They trying to be a Republican. They trying to be a Democrat, a liberal, a conservative. They trying to be a politician. Nah, that ain't what the Lord talking about. He don't want us to get comfortable here. He don't want us to follow the ways of the heathen. We trying to make it to the kingdom. We trying to make it to paradise where we can get some rest. You know, when you go on vacation, you get that little small glimpse of rest, so-called rest. You trying to get that for good. But reading on, verse 53, the root of evil is sealed up from you. Weakness and the moth is hid from you, and corruption is fled into hell to be forgotten. So because he was keeping the commandments and doing the things that was needed, having the faith, hey, the root of evil is sealed up from him. And it ain't talking about money. A lot of people say the root of evil is money. No, it's the love of money, which you are willing to do to get it. All right. Reading on, it says, sorrows are past, and in the end, it showed the treasure of immortality. That's in paradise, the kingdom, rest. Reading on, and therefore ask thou no more questions concerning the multitude of them that perish. But when they had taken liberty, when they had the freedom to learn and understand, to do what was necessary during a grace period, they despised the Most High, thought scorn of his law, and forsook his ways. They said, to hell with that. I'm going to go do what I want to do. I'm going to go break the Sabbath. I'm going to still eat abominable foods. I'm still going to hate my people and go date other nations and marry and have kids with these other nations. I'm still going to defile my body. I'm still going to defile my temple. I'm still going to, what else? Kill and murder and steal from my brothers and sisters. But when they had taken liberty, when they had the freedom to learn, that's how a learned man learns anyway, by opportunity of leisure. When they had the opportunity to learn, they said to hell with it. When they had the facts right in front of them, they threw that to the side. They act like they didn't see it. They despised the Most High. Thought scorn of his law. Man, I ain't got to listen to that. Ain't no book going to tell me what to do. I don't need no fringes on to tell me how I should live. I ain't got to put no dress on to be a woman, to be nobody's wife. I don't have to submit to my husband. I'm an American. Go out there and make me proud. For they forsook his ways. Moreover, they have trodden down his righteous, and in their heart that there is no God. Yea, and that knowing this, they must die. A lot of our brothers and sisters got that mindset. That's why they keep doing the things that they do. Ain't no God. He ain't gonna judge me. I've been doing this for this long. I ain't got to worry about him judging me, doing anything wrong to me. I'm gonna keep breaking his commandment. I'm gonna keep being haughty. I'm gonna still be hard-headed and rebellious. These are the mindsets of the other nations who have no love for the Most High. They can't keep his commandments. They won't. And we following right behind them, saying in our heart, just like they say, it ain't no God. Think about that. Reading on. For as the things aforesaid shall receive you, so thirst and pain and pain are prepared for them. So they're going to be thirsting for this knowledge, and pain going to be prepared for them. For it was not his will that men should come to naught. The Most High did not design man. He didn't want man to be put to death. But they which be created have defiled the name of him that made them. and were unthankful unto him which prepared life for them. Just like our kids are today. They ain't grateful that our parents or that their parents created them and take care of them. They're not thankful for these things. In fact, they think that they are entitled, just like this man does. Think that they are entitled to the things that are given to them in life without having to earn them, without having to put any type of work in. They think they are entitled to something. That's a backwards mindset. And therefore is my judgment now at hand. And the Lord tells you in Zephaniah 3 and 5 that he brings judgment to the forefront every morning. Judgment. That's why you see murders on top of murders, planes falling out the sky, kids getting chopped up and found in abandoned cars. You know, human trafficking. What else they got going on? All type of madness, kidnappings, kids murdering their parents. All type of wickedness is going on in this world right now. This is the judgment of the Lord. All things are in his hand right now. This is the mindset of the prophet. Though. They say, the hell with the Lord, I'm going to do me. I'm going to still defile my temple. I'm going to still be disobedient to the Lord. I'm going to say the hell to my parents. I ain't going to deal with my kids. The hell with my wife. The hell with my husband. I'm going to do me. I'm going to live it up. Prideful individuals. You know? And the Lord is against these things. The Lord hates pride. You know? Let me jump to book of Obadiah right quick. This is where we started off at. With going into these particular people. Who would be the so-called white man? Matter of fact, let me play this video right quick. Because I know how Israel attention span is. They quick to tune you out if you ain't a celebrity. So let me put it on the screen. Where it is. Now, this is something that just happened the other day. This was your boy Donald J. giving a address to the Congress the other day. Check out what he said.
Speaker Johnson, Vice President Vance, the First Lady of the United States, members of the United States Congress, thank you very much, and to my fellow citizens, America is back.
Back to what? More chaos and foolishness. But I'm going to let it play on. You hear that, what they chanting? USA. They ain't giving no credit to the Most High. They ain't say nothing about the Most High. Like I said before, as the scriptures say, they think the Most High is not in existence. Look how prideful they are.
Six weeks ago, I stood beneath the dome of this Capitol and proclaimed the dawn of the golden age of America. From that moment on, it has been nothing but swift and unrelenting action to usher in the greatest and most successful era in the history of our country. We have accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started.
He letting you know it's a lot of hell getting ready to come. He did all this in 43 days, brothers and sisters. Be prepared. Dive into these scriptures study, and apply to be prepared for what's getting ready to come. Get your mind right, basically.
I return to this chamber tonight to report that America's momentum is back, our spirit is back, our pride is back, our confidence is back, and the American dream is surging bigger and better than ever before.
You see that? He said their pride is back. That's why they're going to be destroyed. The Lord is against their pride. But he said America is back. The pride of these individuals. All right. Bear with me. Let me put it back on the screen. All right. Let's go to the book of Obadiah right quick. Obadiah chapter 1, verse 1. And it reads, the vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord God, concerning Edom. Edom is a so-called white man. You can read about that in the book of Genesis, chapter 25. You can read about them all throughout the scriptures. You know, when you do the research on that word, you'll find out that's a Greek term for the word Edom, or for Esau, I'll put it that way, excuse me. And Idumean is a Greek word for Edom. All right. It says, concerning Edom, we have heard a rumor from the Lord. An ambassador is sent among the heathen. Excuse me, Slaki. Arise ye and let us rise up against her in battle. Talking about Edom. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. Even though they try to project themselves as being the great multitude on this earth, they are small among the heathen and they are greatly despised. Everywhere in the world, they are greatly despised. Even though they try to present themselves as the friendly guy on the TV and the commercial, as the hero, around the world, they are considered and are greatly despised, contrary to what you may believe. All right. It says, the pride of thine heart have deceived thee. Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, and that saith in his heart, meaning in his mind, who shall bring me down? That's the exact mindset of this individual right there. When he was saying, we are back. Our spirit is back. Our pride is back. That's exactly what he was saying. Who gonna bring us down? We the top dog. I'm back on top to flex and show the world who we are. We don't care about what Biden and them was doing. We come in to flex muscle to show we still got it. They putting tariffs on everybody. You know, they embarrassing folks left and right. You know, they raising costs. They firing people left and right. They saying, we're going to do what the hell we want to do. Because their mindset is, who shall bring me down to the ground? That's their mindset. That's why they do the things that they do. You know, let me play this other video right quick. And it's going to end up burning them in the end. Even though they think they're doing something that's courageous, they're going to end up getting burnt behind it. Now, in this video, this was a response from Canada to Trump regarding the tariffs that he put into play the other day, yesterday, I believe. Listen to what the Prime Minister of Canada said.
Sir Justin Trudeau speaking right now after the U.S. left Canada with 25% tariffs. Let's listen.
So today, the United States launched a trade war against Canada, their closest partner and ally, their closest friend. At the same time, they're talking about working positively with Russia, appeasing Vladimir Putin.
Hey, pay attention to him. He hot behind this. He ain't reading off no prompter. He talking straight out of his mind, out of his heart.
A lying, murderous dictator. Make that make sense. Canadians are reasonable and we are polite, but we will not back down from a fight. Not when our country and the well-being of everyone in it is at stake. At the moment, the U.S. tariffs came into effect in the early hours of this morning, and so did the Canadian response. Canada will be implementing.
Come on, man.
Great ideas can.
Tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods, starting with tariffs on $30 billion worth of goods immediately, and tariffs on the remaining $125 billion of American products in 21 days' time. Should these tariffs not cease, we are in active and ongoing discussions with provinces and territories to pursue several non-tariff measures.
You see that? They in different what do you say? Let me rewind it. They ready to pursue several other non-tariff measures to straighten this out, to get America back to where they're supposed to be acting. You know, now this is all biblical for those who don't know. You might think this is all political and politics and whatnot. I don't even get into this, but as the scriptures commands us, we got to stay awake and watching to see the signs of the times, because these are the times that's letting us know the end is on its way. The end is here, you know. He said we're going to be pursuing several non-tariff measures. What do you think they talking about? Talking about linking up with these other allies to go to war with America. And that's prophesied. You know, let's go to the book of Revelation right quick. Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 17, I believe. Bear with me. Let me put this back on the screen. Book of Revelation, chapter 17. We're going to start at verse 1. It says, "And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither. I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters." Salaki Israel says, so he's going to show him the judgment that's going to happen to the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. You see that? Talking about Babylon. Let me go there and then I'll get right back to where we at. Let's go to Jeremiah 51:7 right quick. Just to prove that Babylon is that cup in the hand of the Lord that made these other kingdoms and nations drunk. All right. Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 7. I started 6. It says, Jeremiah 51:6, "Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity," meaning her sin. "For this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense." He gonna reward her for her sins. "Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed." So this is talking about future prophecy concerning Babylon the Great. This system, most importantly, United Snakes of America. Talking about Babylon being destroyed, how it has been a cup in the Lord's hand where everybody been sipping out of it, just like they do with them damn them popes. When they having everybody drink out that cup, got everybody drunk. So everybody's on board with damn near everything that America says to do. The LGBTQ plus, you know, eating the abominable food, selling and human trafficking, all of these things these other nations are on board with it, especially when it comes down to oppressing the Israelites. They are all on board on the regard. They are all on board with Babylon. Excuse me. But going back to Revelation. All right. It says, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Now it's not actually a woman sitting on an animal or a beast that has 7 heads and 10 horns. It's a similitude, you know, something similar to what you see right here. It's just a similitude to reflect a story or to have a meaning in it. But that whore that's sitting on these beasts is America. And these beasts are the powers that be in these other countries. The EU. You know, that's what they are. The UN or the European nation. That's exactly what that's going into. America sits on all of those. She is in control of all of them. Just like you seen not too long ago with the president for Ukraine. He came over and he dealt with Trump. He got embarrassed. As soon as he left, he went over to Europe and he linked up with the EU, and they was like, hey, we got your back. But we still need America in order to win this war or to win that battle. So at the end of the day, they still had to rely on America. She is that woman that's sitting on their back. But we'll get into it in a minute to show you what it's talking about, that whore that sitteth upon many waters. But read verse 4, it says, the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. That's all America is. It's an abominable land full of filthiness and every foul spirit. But they'll tell you and project to the media or to the masses that this is the land of opportunity, the land of the free, you know, home of the brave. Is everything but that. All right. It said, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots. A harlot is a strumpet, a whore. That's why I said in verse 1, the whore that sits upon many waters and abominations of the earth. All right. Let me jump down to verse 15. It said, and let me see. So this is the angel explaining to John the Revelator about the vision that he seen. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. So when it said in verse 1, the whore that sit upon many waters, it's talking about this nation is sitting upon many lands and different peoples. All right. For example, let me see. What did I have today? All right. When you look up the United States and you see how many embassies do they have? They have many embassies in many countries around the world, including capital cities and other cities. All right. Let's go and check out a list of them. Let me blow this up a little bit. All of these countries that they have listed, America has an embassy, meaning they have a piece of their land dedicated to the states, to that whore that sits on many waters. About that. Afghanistan, Albania, Algeria, Argentina, Australia, Austria, the Bahamas, Bermuda, Bulgaria, Canada, Colombia, Croatia, Czech Republic, Denmark, what we got? Ethiopia, El Salvador, Fiji, France, Germany, Guatemala, Guyana, Haiti, Honduras. All of these different countries, though, America has an embassy there. Meaning she got eyes and ears everywhere in everybody's land. And got everybody paying taxes to her. That's what it's talking about, that whore that sits upon many waters. She is on top of and in the midst of peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. The U.S. got an embassy everywhere. So if you're a so-called American, you can go to these other lands and be able to go to these U.S. embassies and have some form of security or safety because of the U.S. embassy there. But that's not what it's actually there for. It's actually to keep tabs on these other nations, to see what they got going on. You know? All right. But reading on verse 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. Talking about the EU, including Canada. They shall hate the whore. They shall hate America, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Burn her with fire. What you think that this man was talking about when he said to pursue non-tariff measures? If we got to go to war, we got to go to war. They say, hey, we don't want this. This is what y'all want. We are friendly people. So they say. But scriptures say that they going to burn her with fire. Verse 17, for Yahweh have put in their hearts to fulfill his will. So they're going to do what he tell them to do, regardless of what we may think, what they put on the news. The Most High put in the kings of these hearts what he want done, to agree and to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of Yahweh shall be fulfilled. So these other nations, they're going to give in to America until all things be fulfilled that the Most High won't done before he destroy this place. You know? He going to put it in their hearts. Let me get a precept on that. Let me go to Proverbs chapter 21 and 1. Because the prime minister, the president, the czar, guess what they are? They are the kings of those lands. Let me go to Proverbs chapter 21 and 1. Proverbs 21 and 1, it says, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So they being the leaders, the presidents, the vice president, the czar, the prime minister, whoever who's ruling over these other nations, these other kingdoms, their mind is in the hand of the Lord, and he's gonna turn them however he want them to be turned. They're gonna do whatever he tell them to do, just like it says. Revelation 17:17. For Yahweh have put in their hearts, meaning their minds, to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of Yahweh shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest in that great city, which reigneth over the kings of the earth. That is the beast, talking about America. So these other nations, they ain't got no choice but to deal with America until the Lord deem otherwise. But when he say America done reached this tipping point, guess what? He gonna have these other nations, these 10 horns, hate the whore, make her desolate and naked, eat her flesh and burn her with fire. That's when they're gonna go to war. That's World War III in the making right there. You know? But right now I want to give an example in the scriptures of how pride is dangerous and how the Most High will destroy and throw down. Let me go to the book of Daniel right quick. Daniel chapter 4. Because we, just along with these other nations, we don't look down on pride. In fact, we engulf it, we swallow it, we love it. Daniel chapter 4. I'm gonna give you a quick story or a testimony that was written in the scriptures concerning an individual that was very prideful. And it'll show you how the Lord will take you and break you down. You know what I'm saying? This is why we as a nation of people got to consistently examine and check ourselves on a day-to-day basis. You know, it don't matter how much we think we have learned or know, you know, we still got to remain humble at all times. But some individuals get to a level where can't nobody tell them nothing. And then the Lord end up just breaking them down in a way that they never thought was possible. But I'm going to read this. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 4, verse 1. And it reads, Nebuchadnezzar, the king unto all people, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. I thought it good to show the signs and wonders that the high God had brought toward me. How great are his signs and how mighty are his wonders. His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and his dominion is from generation to generation. It says, I, Nebuchadnezzar, was at rest in my house and flourishing in my palace. I saw a dream which made me afraid, and the thoughts upon my bed and the visions of my head troubled me. Therefore made I a decree to bring in all the wise men of Babylon before me, that they might make known unto me the interpretation of the dream. Then came in the magicians, the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers. And I told the dream before them, but they did not make known unto me the interpretation thereof. Bear with me, Israel. All right, verse 8. But at the last, Daniel came in before me, whose name was Belteshazzar, according to the name of my God, and in whom is the spirit of the holy gods. And before him I told the dream, saying, O Belteshazzar, master of the magicians, because I know that the spirit of the holy gods is in thee, and no secret troubleth thee. Tell me the visions of my dream that I have seen, and the interpretation thereof. So it's letting you know right there that Daniel's name was changed to Belteshazzar. Thus were the visions of my head in my bed. I saw and behold a tree in the midst of the earth, and the height thereof was great. The tree grew and was strong, and the height thereof reached unto heaven, and the sight thereof to the end of all the earth. The leaves thereof were fair, and the fruit thereof much, and it was meat for all. The beast of the field had shadow under it, and the fowls of the heaven dwelt in the boughs thereof, and all flesh was fed on it. So this is the vision that he had in his dream. He breaking down. He want Daniel to break down to him and give him the understanding. He said, I saw in the visions of my head upon my bed, and behold, a watcher and a holy one came down from heaven. He cried aloud and said thus, hewn down the tree and cut off his branches, shake off his leaves and scatter his fruit. Let the beast get away from under it, and the fowls from his branches. Nevertheless, leave the stump of his roots in the earth, even with the band of iron and brass, in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet for the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beast in the grass of the earth. Let his heart be changed from man's, and let a beast's heart be given unto him, and let 7 times pass over him. All right. Where is that at? This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men. See that? That right there is prophecy showing you how Esau is actually ruling this world right now. He said, I will set up the basis of men. Esau is the weakest man on this planet. Even though they present themselves to be the strongest, to be the heroes, to be the good guys, The Lord actually called them the bases of men. You know, they can't stand out in the sun. They can't do hard work. You know, they can't reproduce without some type of drug. You know, this is why they promote commercials where women and men are dating Israelites, you know, or other nations, because they are the bases of men. They are the base. But so this was a dream that was given to Nebuchadnezzar, and he wanted Daniel to break it down. So I'm gonna jump down to verse 22. It said, "It is thou, O king, that art grown and become strong, for thy greatness is grown, and reacheth unto heaven, and thy dominion to the end of the earth." So this dream was talking about this king where he even grew up the kingdom and it reached unto heaven. He is in rulership over everything right now. And whereas the king saw a watcher and a holy one coming down from heaven and saying, "Hew the tree down and destroy it, yet leave the stump of the roots thereof in the earth, even with the band of iron and brass, in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts of the fields till 7 times pass over him. This is the interpretation, O king, and this is the decree of the Most High, which is come upon my lord the king, that they shall drive thee from men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field, and they shall make thee to eat grass as oxen, and they shall wet thee with the dew of heaven, and 7 times shall pass over thee, till thou know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will." So this was going to be the fate of this king for being prideful. And we'll see how prideful he is on as we continue to read. "And whereas they commanded to leave the stump of the tree of the roots, thy kingdom shall be sure unto thee, after that thou shalt have known that the heavens do rule." So after you fall to that lower state, your kingdom is going to stay there, and you'll get that back after you go through your punishment. "Wherefore, O king, let my counsel be acceptable unto thee, and break off thy sins by righteousness, and thy iniquities by showing mercy to the poor, if it may be a lengthening of thy tranquility." So he telling them, I understand what this dream means, what this vision means, Nebuchadnezzar. This is what it means, and in order for you to avoid it, you need to stop sinning. You need to show mercy to the poor, meaning our people, and lengthening of your tranquility. All this came upon King Nebuchadnezzar. All right, jumping down to 29. "At the end of 12 months, meaning after a year went by, he walked in the palace of the kingdom of Babylon. The king spake and said, Is not this great Babylon that I have built for the house of the kingdom of the by the might of my power and for the honor of my majesty?" While the word was in the king's mouth, there fell a voice from heaven saying, "O King O King Nebuchadnezzar, Slack, to thee it is spoken. The kingdom is departed from thee." Why? Because of the prideful things that he just spoke in verse 30. How he's speaking like he built the kingdom up, like he got the power, like it's something that he did. That was the pride of his lips being spoken. So as soon as he said these things, it was decreed by that vision that he was given a year ago. Verse 32. "And they shall drive thee from among men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field. They shall make thee to eat grass as oxen, and 7 times shall pass over thee, until thou know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth to whomsoever he will." That same hour, the thing was fulfilled upon Nebuchadnezzar, and he was driven from among men, and did eat grass as oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till his hairs were grown like eagle's feathers, and his nails like bird claws. You see that the Most High took his understanding and made him like a beast because he was prideful as hell. He made this man go from being a king to being like a beast, a damn animal outside roaming in the field, eating grass like an ox, where the rain is falling on him to his hair and turn like eagle's feathers, and his nails like bird claws. That's how the Most High will break you down. Broke him all the way down from being king, ruling a nation, ruling over people, having all the things that you could possibly want in life. Fame, people working for him, butlers, servants, handmaids, choir, all the nice jewelry, clothes, women, nice house, pools, whatever. Good food, he had all of that. But because of the things that were in his mind and in his heart and the things that he spoke, it defiled him. And the Most High broke him down. Made him as a beast, as a brute beast. Matter of fact, let me get that precept right quick. If I can find it right quick. Just popped in my head. It basically goes into, he understood not because he was like a brute beast. Damn. I think it's in Proverbs 30. Yeah. Proverbs chapter 30, verse 2. It says, surely I am more brutish than any man and have not understanding in me, understanding of a man. I neither learn wisdom nor have knowledge of the holy. So as a brute beast, you don't have no understanding. Just like the dogs, the cats, the cows out, they ain't got no understanding. They ain't got no wisdom. Now they might be able to understand when danger is around them, but that's about it. Or when it's time to eat. Or when a storm is coming. They ain't really got no wisdom though. But this is how Nebuchadnezzar was broke down to a brute beast status. At the end of the days, I, Nebuchadnezzar, lifted up mine eyes unto heaven, and my understanding returned unto me. And I blessed the Most High. And I praise and honor him that liveth forever, whose dominion is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdom is from generation to generation. And all the inhabitants of the earth are reputed as nothing, and he doeth according to his will in the army of heaven and among the inhabitants of the earth, and none can stay his hand or say unto him, what doest thou? Ain't nobody gonna be able to tell the Most High what the hell, what you doing? What you got going on? Why you doing this? We ain't got no say-so in the mouth. It's just like a director of the movie. It's on the script already written. Hey, everybody got to play their part. The camera's rolling. He already did the action. Hit the little action tape. Hey, it's on and popping. We can't ask the Most High, why you doing this? How can I change? Hey, play your role. All right, reading on. At the same time, my reason returned unto me, and for the glory of my kingdom, my honor and my brightness returned unto me, and my counselors and my Lord sought unto me, and I was established in my kingdom, and excellent majesty was added unto me. Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and extol and honor the King of heaven, all whose works are truth, and his ways judgment, and those that walk in pride, he is able to abase. You see that? This is why we can't be caught up with a prideful spirit. Trying to be like these individuals. The lesson, the message of the story was that those that walk in pride, the Most High is able to abase, to destroy. That man right there that you see on the screen ain't did nothing but lie, deceive. And yet and still he is what they would call the commander in charge, commander in chief. And as the scriptures say, if the ruler hearken to lies, hey, so do his servants. You know? But this was a story brought out to show you that we can't move in that prideful spirit. You know what I'm saying? We got to stay humble at all times. And just like he said and stated in Revelation, America gonna continue to become more and more prideful until it reached that tipping point. then the word or the will of the Lord gonna be fulfilled. Where these other nations, they're gonna get fed up to the point where they're ready to bomb them. Or as that man said in that video, pursue several non-tariff measures to rectify the situation. Let me put it back on the screen. See, I think he had something else he said.
Pursue several non-tariff measures which will demonstrate that there are no winners in a trade war. Now, just like I did a month ago, I want to speak first directly to the American people. We don't want this. We want to work with you as a friend and ally. And we don't want to see you hurt either. But your government has chosen to do this to you. As of this morning, markets are down, and inflation is set to rise dramatically all across your country. Your government has chosen to put American jobs at risk, at the thousands of workplaces that succeed because of materials from Canada or because of consumers in Canada, or both. They've chosen to raise costs for American consumers on everyday essential items like groceries and gas, on major purchases like cars and homes, and everything in between. They've chosen to harm American national security, impeding access to the abundant critical minerals, energy, building materials, and fertilizers that we have and that the United States needs.
So we ain't gonna watch the rest of that video, but basically he responded to what Trump trying to do, trying to be a bully, you know, trying to flex on the rest of the world. As Trump stated in his video earlier, hey, we back. America's spirit is back. Their pride is back. You know, we as a people, we got to be mindful of what's going on. Regardless of how Trump is moving, it's not for us as a people. The things that he is doing, him and Elon Musk and the other members of the Raccoon Squad, they ain't doing things for us. They are doing these things for themselves. And if they could, they would get rid of us. If they could. But they are not moving in a fashion to help us as Israelites in any shape, form, or fashion. You seen what they did in Northern Kingdom. As soon as he came in office, they started deporting. Not that they were able to do enough, but they put a message out there that, hey, we will do these things. We do have the power to do these things, and there can't nobody stop us. Showing you the level of pride that they have as a nation. All right. So our job is to stay focused on the Lord and stay committed to these commandments and having the faith, doing the things that's required of us. You know, I'm gonna go to the book of Galatians right quick. Galatians chapter 6, verse 3. Galatians chapter 6, verse 3. We almost out, Israel. It says, Galatians chapter 6, verse 3. For if a man think himself to be something when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself. So we can't ever get to the level where we thinking that we above our brothers or that we better than our brothers. Just because we might know a few precepts and know a few breakdown, know a few laws, or got some money in the bank. Hey, we are, as a nation, still on the bottom of society. We know through the precept that the Most High hates pride. You ain't gonna hear him speak on that matter at all. Matter of fact, when he told Christ, he said, I'm well pleased. He didn't say, I'm proud of you, son. He said, I'm well pleased. He hate pride. For if a man think of himself to be something when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself. We have to keep that in mind. We'll never know the things that we need to as much as we need to. So we got to stay humble at all times. All right. I'm going to go to Proverbs. No, I'm going to go to 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 12. Is that where I want to start? Yeah, I started 12. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 12, it says, wherefore let him that thinketh he standeth take heed lest he fall. So we got to constantly be examining ourselves daily through the precepts to see, are we improving? What am I doing today to make myself or the others around me better? Have I really or truly put in the work to satisfy the Most High today? Am I doing the things that are pleasing to the Most High? Take heed lest I fall. When you get that mindset like, yeah, I did enough. Yeah, all I did was read. That should be good. Hey, you about to fall. When you thinking all you got to do is watch a video today, you about to fall. We have to constantly be finding different ways to improve as Israelites in this truth, in this walk, every day to make ourselves, our family, and our nation better. And I know it get time, it get hard. We get tired, we get caught up with being on the plantation and dealing with the woes of this world. But hey, it's not a problem when it comes down to you finding a new meal to eat, new clothes to wear, a new spot to vacation at. So it shouldn't be no problem when it comes down to you learning more about these precepts, reading more about these testimonies, because it's only going to build you up to help you out in the future tribulations that's coming your way. Verse 13, there have no temptation taking you, but such as is common to man. It's nothing that anybody's going to go through that ain't happened to another man before. That's common to man. But Yahweh is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able. So the Most High ain't going to put nothing on you that you can't handle. When you look at the story of Job, all that brother went through, the Lord put it on him and allowed it to happen because he knew he could handle it. Half of us can't even deal with 5% of what Job went through. But we think we know something. Oh, I'm in the truth. I know this, I know that. You ain't went through 5% of what Job went through. Thinking we know something. Hey, take heed lest thee fall. But we're going to be tried. We're going to be tempted. But everything that we're going to be tempted by, hey, is common to man. Man has been through this before. But the Lord ain't going to put nothing on your table that you are not able to bear. But with the temptation, also make a way to escape that you may be able to bear it. So whatever the temptation may be, the Lord going to make a way for you to escape. The temptation is sin. Just like with Joseph, that woman was coming on to him, Potiphar's wife. Now, she might have been an attractive woman. She living at the top. She got the money. Hey, she got power in her household. You know, she probably walking around in some lingerie trying to entice Joseph. You know, Joseph like, hell nah. He fled from sin like from the face of a serpent. So it was a way to escape. The Lord tell you when sin is around to flee from it. You know when something is wrong or right, whether you should pursue it. He tell you that in Proverbs, don't go by that way, don't pass by it. Get the hell on. So this is what the Lord is talking about, but will, with the temptation, also make a way to escape, that you may be able to bear it. It's always a way. And even in the world, they got a saying, where there's a way, or where there's a way, there's a will, or a will, there's a way. So this is the mindset that we got to have as a people. Let me go back to dealing with Esau right quick. Let's go to the book of Proverbs 11. Proverbs chapter 11, starting at verse 1. It says, a false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. A false balance. That's what they teach here in this society. A false balance on everything. Think about that. We wake up every day plotting and scheming and scheduling, trying to make our day right to go to work. We making sure our meals is prepped, clothes is ironed, beds made, gas in the car, all of these things just to make it to work every day. But when we get out of bed, we ain't giving no time to the Most High. He ain't getting a 30-second prayer. We ain't got time for that, though. But we got all the time in the world to sit there and scroll on our phones. We ain't got time to read in the scriptures. It's supposed to be Israelites and it's true. That's a false balance right there. We ain't got no time for the Lord, but all the time in the world for oppression. That's backwards as hell. Or we got all this love and respect for the other nations, but no love and respect for our own people. That's a false balance right there. We got all this love and knowledge for the wickedness and the ways of this world, but we ain't got no understanding for how to be righteous, how to uplift and motivate and stay inspired for our brothers and sisters, to be a light, to be an example. We ain't got no knowledge of that. We don't want that. All we know is the ways of this world, foolishness. It's a false balance. Verse 2, when pride cometh, then cometh shame. When pride cometh, then cometh shame. But the lowly is wisdom. Pride cometh shame. Let me go to Obadiah again. We'll go Obadiah again, because this is what's going to happen to Babylon and Edom. Obadiah chapter 1, verse 10, I believe. For the violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. Talking about Edom. Edom. They're going to be cut off forever. And shame going to cover them. How is shame covering Edom right now? Because we exposing them for the devils that they are. Showing you what they have done to our people throughout history, what they continue to do, how they constantly lie and deceive to mislead the whole world. But because of the violence against our brother, and then they be trying to slap on, what's up, brother? What's up, my brother? Get the hell out of here with that. Shame shall cover thee. Don't shake my hand. You won't even admit that Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is a so-called black man. You won't admit to the fact that you did us wrong. Nah, man, we just, things just didn't work out, man. The hell with that. For the violence against our brother Jacob, all this truth coming out that your people put in books and wrote down and made movies out of, it's coming out and it's exposing you. The Lord put it in our mind to do his will as well. They're like saying Revelation, the earth helped the woman and swallowed up the flood, swallowed up the lies by bringing out all this truth. That's what the internet is all about. But they call it the information highway. That's what you're getting through the internet. Now they might try to cover it up, saying fact check it and this and that. Hey, there's so many facts out there, it's unreal. But as the scripture said earlier that we were reading in Ezra, where is that at? They were talking about our people had liberty. They despised it. Verse 56, 2nd Ezra chapter 8, verse 56. But when they had taken liberty, when you had the opportunity to learn this truth, they despised the Most High, thought scorn of his law, and forsook his ways. They say, the hell with that. I want to do what everybody else doing. I want to have a good time. Even though I might lose my life tonight, I want to have a good time. They despise the thoughts of the Most High. Thought to scorn at his law. Man, that don't mean that, man. That ain't talking about nothing, man. and forsook his ways, and said in their heart, verse 58, that there is no God, yea, and that knowing this, they must die. So this is why we got to change our mindset, Israel. We can't keep following the ways of this world. We can't keep following behind our enemies, thinking that they know the route to the kingdom. They know the way to success. They don't know the way of peace. All they know is lies. Psalm 58:3 say they come out the womb speaking lies. So the truth ain't in them. So we can't follow liars expecting them to give you truth, thinking that they really want to help you. Their job is to stay on top of you, conquering you. And one of the main things that they teach us is to be prideful. But as we read in the beginning, pride is the beginning of sin. And that's what got us in the condition we in right now as a people. So we want to change our mindset. We want to get out that prideful state of mind, return to the Most High, and humble ourselves. Matter of fact, I got one more precept. Go to 1 John 2:16. 1 John 2:16. And it reads, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. See that? The lust of this world, chasing money, chasing women, fancy cars, all of it, that's the pride of life. That ain't of the Father. He don't care about that. Now, can you have a new outfit? Yes. Can you have a new whip? Yes. But you shouldn't be fixated on these things. You shouldn't be living your life for these things. You should be living for Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Why? Because all the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of Yahweh abideth forever. So get that prideful mindset out of your mind. Don't be walking around talking about, I'm proud of you, son. Show some pride. Get that out your mindset. Change your vocabulary. Change your whole mindset. The Lord ain't dealing with a prideful man or a prideful sister or a prideful mindset. Because we, as Israelites, we ought to know and understand that when we think we know something, we know nothing at all. What we do know is that we should humble ourselves, consider our ways, and come back to serving the Lord day in and day out. Having a faith that he's going to reward us for doing the things that he tells us to do. Not seeking the wealth and the cares of this world, the thorns and the thistles of this world. But staying focused on the Most High day in and day out. Praying, keeping the remembrance of your brother in mind day in and day out. But nonetheless, brothers and sisters, I'm your brother Ananias for A.O.I, the Awakening of Israel. This class has been called Thine Pride Hath Deceived Thee. I pray and hope that you all learn something tonight. And you can actually teach on it, speak on it, remove that, saying that word from your mindset, from your vocabulary. Teach it to your brothers and sisters, especially your children. Teach them how to not be prideful. Teach them how to go hard. Teach them how to stay grounded, how to stay rooted, how to be obedient, how to be disciplined, how to stay on fire. But don't teach them to be prideful for the ways of this world, because we all know that the ways of this world ain't gonna get us nowhere. But on that note, I pray and hope you brothers and sisters learn something. Once again, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, B'Shem Yahweh Shai. And Lord willing, we see you brothers and sisters next week for another edifying class. But on that note, I say shalom, shalom, peace and grease to you all, and we out.